911 emergency. What are you reporting?
Somebody was in our backyard.
All right. What did the person look like that was in your backyard?
I didn't see it, but there were shots.
You heard what?
There were shots.
You heard shots being fired?
Yes. My husband went outside.
I want you guys to stay inside the house. How many shots did you hear?
I don't know.
Like one, two, a bunch?
I heard a lot.
Lots? Where did you last see your husband?
Going out the back door, and then he told me to get back in with Michael, so I came back in, and then I heard the shots. Let me get Michael out of here.
How old's your son?
10. He's still asleep.
Okay, don't wake him up just yet, okay?
The dogs are going to go nuts.
Are you able to see the backyard at all?
I have all the lights out.
You turn off all the lights?
Yeah. I can't seem to hear.
Okay, James, stay with me. I have officers there. I have 2 officers there. I want you to stay inside the house.
He was the sports star who would go on to become an Olympian, and she was the homecoming queen. They were high school sweethearts with a seemingly perfect, nearly 30-year-long marriage that was the envy of everyone. But on August 2008-2009, Dave Laut was found dead in the backyard of his home, and over 5 years later, his wife would be found guilty of his murder. But what really happened on that cold night to the celebrated bronze medalist? Welcome back to Tavern Crime Chronicles. Here we explore mysterious, chilling, solved and unsolved cases, approaching them with empathy and extensive research. If you have the nerve for fascinating stories, this is your channel. So, grab a drink and hydrate while I take you through the heartbreaking story of a seemingly perfect love story with a tragic end. Today's story takes us to Ventura, California, officially named San Buenaventura. Located northwest of Los Angeles, Ventura is a coastal city strategically located, and because of that, it is a popular tourist destination. Owing to its historic landmarks, beaches, and resorts, Ventura has been inhabited by different people, including the Chumash Native Americans, and later the Spanish missionaries in 1782, who gave the city its name. It would later be taken over by Mexicans in 1833, and finally following the American conquest of California in the American-Mexican War, California became a United States territory and bought land from the Mexicans. But in this beautiful land with Mediterranean climate enjoying the breeze from the Pacific Ocean, a murder plot evolved unsuspected by its inhabitants. This is the story of David Lester Laut. Dave Laut was born on December 21, 1956 in Findlay, Ohio, to Father Laut and Mother Dottie Laut, and grew up in Oxnard, California. He attended Art Haycox Elementary School, E.O. Green Junior High School, Santa Clara High School, Moore Park College, all in Ventura County, along with San Jose City College and UCLA, where he was a 2-time NCAA champion and was ranked #1 shot putter in the United States. Dave Laut's love story was one like a scene from Hollywood movie rom-coms. He met his future wife, Jane Laubacher, at Santa Clara High School in Oxnard, California. Dave, who played football and threw shot put, was voted most athletic, and she, homecoming queen. It was a match made in heaven for Dave, and Jane began dating after their graduation in 1975. Dave would go on to win 2 NCAA titles in shot put while at UCLA that set the stage for the athletic dreamer. He was considered a top contender for shot put at the 1980 Olympics, and he trained really hard for them. Unfortunately for him, it was not his time yet, for in that year, the United States President, Jimmy Carter, led a boycott of the Summer Olympic Games in Moscow to protest the late 1979 Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and encouraged other nations to do the same. Thus 65 other countries joined the boycott. It was this unfortunate incident that almost put a dark cloud on Dave's career, dulling his dreams. If I said he was disappointed, That would be an understatement. But after he was done mourning the loss of a chance at gold while at the peak of his youth, he got up and decided to put a shine on the eventful year 1980. Dave proposed marriage to his longtime girlfriend and biggest supporter, Jane Laubacher. They were wedded in a beautiful ceremony December that same year of 1980. Dave didn't give up his Olympic dream, and it finally came to reality on August 11, 1984, when he won the bronze medal in the shot put at the Los Angeles Olympics. And oh, what a joy it was for the Laut family in the Ventura neighborhood, for they had an Olympic champion. In 1985, Dave was ranked number 7 shot putter in the world, and as the number 1 American. This gave Dave the encouragement and determination to even go harder and aim for the gold at the 1988 Olympics, but unfortunately, he tore tendons in both knees during an agility test to become a firefighter. When he got back to the track after rehabilitation, he failed to make the team during the Olympic trials and forever lost the chance at the gold. Coaching had always been his dream, Dave's mother said during a television interview with CBS News as she fondly talked about her son. After retirement from being a professional shot putter, he became an assistant track coach at Ventura College in 1994 and later to Hueneme High School in the Oxnard Union High School District, where he was promoted to athletic director in 2008 after serving 8 seasons as the track coach. While his career was not short of excellence, his marriage, on the other hand, was lacking. Dave and Jane were happy together, but unfortunately, she couldn't get pregnant, and they were not blessed with a child of their own. The couple adopted a baby boy from South Korea in 1999 and named him Michael, whom they dotted on so much. "Times were good," said Jane as she reminisced about their early years of marriage, but according to her, Dave's character changed tremendously when Michael was about 5 years of age. And their life together was never the same again. It got worse and worse every year, but no one seemed to know how bad because he was the town hero and beloved coach. August 27, 2009. Police received a frantic call from a lady who said that shots had been fired at her residence. Detectives responded almost immediately, and Dave Laut was found dead in the backyard of his home. Jane Laut first told detectives while being interrogated at the Oxnard Police Headquarters that there had been a noise coming from the backyard, and her husband Dave had gone to investigate when he was shot by the intruders. Unfortunately for her, that story did not last the night because detectives found the murder weapon, Dave's own .22 caliber revolver, hidden in the grandfather clock. Since she was being deceptive, there was definitely a reason why and a need for further investigation. She later recanted her story, claiming that she had murdered her husband in self-defense. Jane was charged with her husband's murder and arrested, but after nearly 6 months, she was given a police bond. The detectives knew that they could use the time to build a satisfying case for the jury. Unfortunately, that took about 6 years before she could face the courtroom. Time she spent planning her case, and even gave a television interview that painted Dave as the monster and Jane, the damsel in distress, the battered wife that had been through too much. That sparked a whirlwind of ugly stories as she, crying hysterically, began to tear down the portrait of a golden couple with the perfect marriage that was the envy of their family and friends. Jane mentioned that Dave had been physically, sexually, and emotionally abusive throughout their 30 years of marriage, and that had started almost immediately 1 year into the marriage but had intensified later when their son was about 5 years of age. She said that Dave physically abused her and their son Michael, calling her names whenever a chance arose. Threats slowly became the daily bread, and that Michael was even scared of his father because of the bad temper that flared up at any small disagreement into an altercation. Dave complained that Michael didn't do anything right. He didn't speak right, draw right, or even eat right. We unfortunately can never know Dave's side of the story, but according to Jane, on that fateful day she arrived home from the beach with Michael and were immediately met with the usual threats from Dave. He was angry and continued to yell into the night, threatening to kill both of them. That was the norm for the Laut family, and as Jane crawled into bed beside Michael, she knew she had to save her son. She went down to him and focused on diverting him away from Michael and out of the house. They both tripped and fell during a struggle for the gun, and it went off, killing her husband. But like they say, there is no perfect murder. According to the detectives, in their bid to best reconstruct what could have happened that night, mentioned that while Dave was outside, Jane followed him with a flashlight, firing the gun to the back of his head. She fired 5 more shots until she was sure he was dead, then she dialed. She was completely ignorant of the fact that the murder weapon, Dave's Ruger .22 revolver, is not an automatic gun but a single-action revolver, and thus one had to physically, manually cock that firearm before every shot, which showed premeditation. She probably was tired of the marriage. Maybe she felt threatened that both her life and their sons was in danger, but unfortunately there was no single witness to correspond that. Rebecca Laut, Dave Laut's sister, mentioned that Dave held Jane on a pedestal, and they never witnessed any form of violence. Their neighbor, right next door, an ex-LA County deputy, testified never to have witnessed or heard any form of violence at the Laut's house. Jane Laut was offered 5 plea deals, the last of which was for a maximum 6-year sentence for manslaughter. But she turned them all down, saying that the jury would either believe her or not, because if she pleaded guilty, she would live her life forever being known as a husband murderer. Jane Laut's trial began on January 11, 2016, of which her son Michael, now 17 years, testified of his father's temper but couldn't recall the times that he had been violent. No one forgets the time someone is violent towards them, and so that made it very hard for the jury to believe them. After 3 long months of trials and deliberations, with an emotional Jane spending 6 days on the stand trying to convince the jury, the police had uncovered that Jane was deep in debt. And they found probable cause for murder because he had a life insurance of approximately $300,000 and was also afraid of a divorce. Jane Laut was found guilty of first-degree murder and given a mandatory sentence of 50 years to life in prison. Well, this pretty much sums up the story of Ventura's most loved Olympian. Was this a senseless murder? Yes. No one deserves to die, let alone at the hands of the one you loved. Could it have been avoided? Yes. Their financial difficulties could have been overturned, and divorce is never the end of life. Tell me, did you learn anything from today's case? Please tell us in the comments section below. If you managed to reach the end of the story, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to never miss any video, and see you next time.